We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start by establishing the quorum. Councilor Molden. Not present. Councilor Schmidt.
Here.
Councilor Heineke.
Here.
Councilor Silty. Chad, are you there?
He's here. I see him.
I need to hear him or not?
You have a quorum already.
Okay. With this quorum being established, I hereby call Wednesday, November 18th, 2020, regular meeting of the City Council to order. Approval of minutes.
Councilor Schmidt, I'll motion to approve the minutes from October 21st, 2020, regular meeting of the Appleton City Council.
Motion has been
This is
made.
Heineke. Heineke, I second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 regular meeting of the Appleton City Council. We have a second by Heineke. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Councilor Molden, not present. Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Silty?
I think he's having some issues.
My vote as mayor is yes. Motion carries. Changes to agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to a public hearing.
This is Heineke. I motion to approve opening a public hearing for amending the city code Title 3, Chapter 31, Statute 31.65 through Statute 31.68 hospital.
Motion has been made by Councilor Heineke to open a public hearing for amending the city hospital board ordinances. Do I hear a second?
Councilor Schmidt, I'll second.
Councilor Schmidt is seconding the motion. Will there be any discussion?
I just joined, Dan. I lost my computer touch. Can you just say that one more time?
Just read the motion.
Well, the motion has been made by Councilor Heineke to open the public hearing for the amendment.
Someone's phone.
And we have a second by Schmidt. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take roll call. Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Molden, not present. Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Silty?
Here.
And my vote is mayor is yea. The public hearing is hereby opened.
Motion, this is Heineke. I motion to approve closing the public hearing for amending the city code Title 3, Chapter 31, Statute 31.65 through Statute 31.68 hospital.
This is Schmidt. I will second.
Okay, is there anyone in the public that would wish to speak?
The only two people is, I don't have anybody besides council members and two people that,
If anybody wants to speak,
Okay, who made, Schmidt, you made the motion?
Heineke did the motion.
Okay.
Schmidt
The motion
second.
has been made by Councilor Heineke to close the public hearing for amending the city water.
you're on the same page.
So we just repeat the,
Yep. So first you have to close the hospital, And
Okay,
then,
motion has been made by Councilor Heineke to close the public hearing for amending the city hospital ordinances. And it was seconded, the Councilor Schmidt seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we vote again, right?
yep, now you call for it.
Councilor Schmidt,
Yay.
Councilor Heineke,
Yay.
Councilor Silty,
Yay.
and I as mayor is yea. Public hearing is hereby closed for the hospital.
This is Councilor Schmidt. I'll motion to approve opening a public hearing for amending Title 5, Chapter 52, 52.5, Water Regulation, and Chapter 30, General Provisions, 31.11, Establishing Fees and Charges, Water Rate Ordinances.
The motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to open a public hearing for the amending the city water rates ordinances. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Silty, seconded. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we're going to take a vote again. Councilor Schmidt,
Yay.
Councilor Heineke,
Yay.
Councilor Silty.
Yay.
I vote as mayor is yea. So the public hearing is open, right? So we,
You should ask the public if they have
okay.
questions.
Does anybody in the public wish to have anything to say on the city ordinance on water rates?
I guess just to help the public understand what we're doing, we have a covenant for a loan basically that we're taking out with Public Facilities Authority. At our last meeting, a resolution was passed that prescribed and has the city adhere to a structure of rates that is necessary in order for us to receive funding for our water project, which we're currently working on as we speak. That requires changes to our ordinances because of our ordinance. Industrial business users and residential.
Does anybody else have any comments?
This is Schmidt. I'll motion to approve closing the public hearing for amending Title 5, Chapter 52, 52.5, Water Regulation, and Chapter 30, General Provisions, 31.11, Establishing Fees and Charges and Water Rate Ordinances.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to close the public hearing for amending the city water rate ordinances. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I believe it was Councilor Heineke seconded. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Councilor Schmidt,
Yay.
Councilor Heineke,
Yay.
Councilor Selby.
Yay.
I vote as mayor is yea. Motion carries. The public hearing is hereby closed.
No, just vote. No business.
So we go to public comments. Sorry, go to public comments. Hearing none, we'll move on to new business.
This is Schmidt. I'll motion to amend the Appleton City Code Title 3, Chapter 31, 31.65 through 31.68, Hospital Board, and Title 5, Chapter 52, 52.50, Water Regulations, and Chapter 30, General Provisions, 31.11, Establishing Fees and Charges as presented by city staff, and for hospital board member appointments to take place effective January 20th, 2021.
The motion has been, motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to approve the amendment city hospital board ordinances and water rate ordinances. Do I hear a second?
This is Heineke, I second.
Counselor Heineke has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion?
Just a quick question I have for you, Mr. Mayor. With regards to the city hospital board, if with this passing, will there now be 6 people on the board, or will it still stay at 5?
It'll still stay at 5.
Still stay at 5. Okay.
This
That's
is
all I have.
Heineke. Can I make a comment?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make a comment that, as prescribed by the hospital auditors, I believe this will bring the city and the hospital closer together. And that's, one reason why I think it's a good idea to put another council member on the hospital board.
If I can clarify that too. In recent meetings with the hospital auditors, with Flea, it was suggested that the city council and the city bring as much alignment between the hospital and the city as possible. And this is how the city has chosen to take on that recommendation.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Counselor Schmidt,
Yay.
Counselor Heineke,
Yay.
Counselor Silty.
Yay.
My vote as mayor is yea. Motion carries. Progress SIU's restructuring.
Well, first we have the PFA award letter discussion. So it's been uploaded, and this is just to let everybody know that we're marching forward with haste. We have been awarded this $6 million bond with PFA to complete this project, which is very much needed here. We thank PFA, our partners at the state, for helping us with that. There's no vote required for this one. As of our next meeting, we will be closing on that bond so that we can start recuperating reimbursements that we have already doled out for the project. So this is just to make sure the community is aware, and the city council, we're all moving at the same step together.
We don't need to vote on it.
Nope, there's nothing to vote on that one. I can go to close.
This is Heineke. I motion to contract with Pros Group for the restructuring of the City of Appleton significant industrial user agreements.
Motion is made by Counselor Heineke to contract with the Probes Group to have the city's SIU agreement rewritten. Do I hear a second?
This is Schmidt. I'll second.
Counselor Schmidt has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion?
Who's this agreement with again, Dan, or Mayor?
It's for our SIU agreement with our industrial users.
Oh, all industrial users, or is there anybody specific?
No, it's just trying to make everything more simple for people to figure out and less difficult, correct?
Right, so to provide a little bit of context,
Okay.
significant industrial user agreement is not necessarily user-friendly. It's quite complicated. It's been complicated from the city's perspective and also from the industrial user's perspective. So what we've done is we've hired a firm that specializes in creating these agreements. We've sat down with our industrial partners here at the local level, Just Inc., Christensen Farms, and also Core Civic. They've come in, we've worked with them, and part of what we're doing with this industrial user agreement is understanding how the wastewater be impacted by different users and what we're going to need moving into the future, which will help as we get through the funding and infrastructure development that needs to happen at the wastewater. So this is all connected, and all of our partners in our city for the industrial users are aware and have participated in meetings already.
So it's just trying to get a better relationship between our industrial users and the city itself is what we're trying to do.
Okay. No, that's fine.
And also, Chad, this is on the recommendation of Jim, I think it's Jim Nelson up there. He's worked with this group before, and he highly recommends them to help simplify our SIU.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a vote. Counselor Schmidt?
Yay.
Counselor Heineke?
Yay.
Counselor Silty?
Yay.
My vote is nay, or is nay. Motion carries. Apex baseball. Welcome, Bob.
Good evening, everybody, Mayor,
Yep, thank you for coming.
yep, staff, council, thanks for the opportunity this evening. I had sent, Mr. Morales, a letter here on dated November 11th of 2020. Backing up a little bit, we had completed a capital improvement plan for Appleton back in 2019. Basically what that did is we just sat down with city staff, identified some areas that in the future, the city thought need to be addressed as far as improving infrastructure. And one of the things that I think I stressed to the staff and council when I first started working with the city of Appleton is to try to be proactive when it comes to planning and securing funding. Hopefully everybody's got a chance to read the letter. I'm not going to go through it. You've got a lot of things going on this evening. Your time is important. I guess the main thing that I want to stress this evening is, in some of my conversations that I've had with Willie when I've been, is that he's made the comment that it's evident that you've got some utility infrastructure that's going to need to be addressed here in the near future. And if the city wants to put themselves in a position to receive funding from the Public Facilities Authority, which is the same organization that you're receiving funding from for the water treatment plant improvements, in 2022, not 2021, but if you want to be eligible to receive funding in 2022, there's what's called a facilities plan that is due in early March of 2021. And that facilities plan, basically what it is, it's a preliminary engineering report. You also have to do an environmental information worksheet. There's some other information and documents. We need to do a public hearing. It does get of a lengthy process. So I guess what I wanted to do this evening is just to notify the city of that requirement, of that deadline. Again, if you want to receive funding in 2022 for your wastewater system improvements, if you want to do any, we need to basically get that facilities plan done by probably February of 2021. This process, again, does take some time. Typically, we like to start that process in either November or December. So again, I wanted to make you aware of it. A couple things to note regarding the facilities plan. Just because you do a facilities plan and submit it does not mean the city has to move forward with any construction. So let's say if you choose to move ahead with the facilities plan right now, you don't have to do any construction in 2022, 23, 24. It can stay on the shelf once it's been certified with the MPCA until you decide to move forward. Another thing is the capital improvement plan that we did for the city included a number of areas. It's probably well over 20 blocks. A lot of times in that case, what we like to do is encourage cities to facilities plan, incorporate all those areas. And if you incorporate all those areas, it doesn't mean that you have to move ahead with construction for all those areas. But let's say in 2022 or 2023, you want to move ahead with, let's say, 10 of those 20 blocks. You can pick and choose the areas that you want to move ahead with construction. You don't have to do all of the areas. So it basically gives you the flexibility to choose which areas you want to move ahead with construction with when you want to do that starting in 2022. So again, you don't have to move ahead with this process. I just want to make you aware of that situation, make you aware of the deadline. And again, we always encourage communities when it comes to funding, planning for infrastructure improvements to be proactive. So I know I've talked to Willie, like I said before, I've talked to Justin, visited with Justin, the Public Works Director, last week, and based on televising some of your gravity lines in town, it sounds like there probably is going to be a need coming. So any questions or comments on the letter? Again, I'm not going to go through it in detail. Hopefully you get a chance to take a look at it.
So if we do that and we're on the book, say if we have a hot spot, I mean, we can pick an area where we need to do to get us through till the next funding cycle?
Correct. So for example, if we do the facilities plan, get it into the MPCA, I mean February or March, and it includes all 20 blocks. let's say this coming summer in 2021, you have a couple of main breaks and there's like, oh, we have 4 or 5 blocks here that we need to do next year. You can pick those 5 blocks out of that area if it's included in the facilities plan and move ahead with construction in 2022. If you don't feel like you want to do anything, you don't have to.
But isn't there a stretch that we had some jetting done on that is getting to be a real, I mean, it could be.
I mean, I think people are gonna think that, like, we're weaving all this together magically. The truth is that just yesterday, when we were jetting the line, the roots were so incredibly dense that we couldn't even get water through. And this is now the 3rd time we've had to do it in less than 4 months.
Justin had expressed that same issue with me recently as well. And it sounds like there's not just 1 or 2 lines, there's a number of lines that are that way in your collection system. So I guess based on what I know, what I've gathered from city staff, I would encourage the city to do this. Again, it puts you in a position and gives you flexibility in moving forward. There's nothing worse than being reactive in this case where you need to do something. It's always better to be, again, proactive rather than reactive. So,
And just to add on to that, we've changed our rate structure. We've increased rates necessarily. We're working with PFA already. After we're done with the water treatment project, we'll have the right level of debt service to move forward. We've been working towards this since my first day here, and you guys together since before I even got here. So.
I didn't bring a proposal or anything to move it ahead. I will say this, typically to do a facilities plan, the preliminary engineering report, the environmental information worksheet, the public hearing, all the other requirements, the size area that we're talking about here, which is just the gravity stuff. Like I said, it's probably well over 20 blocks. You're looking at probably around a $15,000 cost to do it. But since we did the capital improvement plan for the city, we've already got the areas documented. We've got a map. We actually went through and did a fairly detailed preliminary cost estimate. So you're probably looking at around $10,000 to $12,000 to complete the facilities plan for the areas that are shown here in red or in that capital improvement plan. So if the city's comfortable in moving ahead with this evening with authorizing us to start that, we can do that. If you're not comfortable doing that, we can further discuss it at a later time too. So.
I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad we're going to be proactive. So we're finally getting ahead of some of these issues, which is wonderful. So Councilor Schmidt, motion to move forward with Apex and begin the process of submitting the City of Appleton wastewater facility project to be included on the Public Facilities Authority Clean Water Revolving Fund Project Priority List.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to approve working with Apex Engineering to submit the city's wastewater facilities project to the PFA's priority fund list. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Is it Sylvie?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Sylvie, sorry. Excuse me.
Councilor Silty has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion? I'd just like to say myself, I mean, we need to move forward with this just with the problems the city crew's had and the water breaks they've had. And I mean, it's getting to the point we have to do something. So.
I will add this too. This facilities plan is required by the Clean Water Revolving Fund, which has to do with wastewater. But when we do this facilities plan, it will include a preliminary engineering report that also includes information on the water main. So it's not just the sanitary sewer collection, we will also include information on the water main as well.
So from my experience working with federal grants, they do not want you to piecemeal things. They want you to have a comprehensive approach. And we are textbook comprehensive now. We're looking forward to what you're supposed to right now.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Silty?
Yay.
My vote as mayor is yea, motion carries. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
So Bob, I will be in touch with you to send me a formal proposal. Great, thank you.
Rodenberg and Berryman Airport Pavement Project.
My green board is on.
My camera is on.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to stop on, and we talked about this back in August or late July, and essentially it's the pavement improvement project out at the airport. And that was back when we talked, that was part of our capital improvements plan that MnDOT had approved the city to move forward with if they so choose. MnDOT would help with the funding of such a project. Tonight, we're essentially asking for approval to move forward with the engineering, design, bid specifications for everything, and to get this project rolling with MnDOT and other entities working from home and remotely. We want to get started on this sooner than later, so that way the agreements between the city and the state, the bidding process and all that can take place, so that construction would be ready to go first thing in the spring when the weather does allow. So essentially we're kicking that off this evening, and our proposal here tonight is to provide a full range of project administration from the beginning tonight, all preliminary and final design, as well as construction, engineering, and administration of the project through final project closeout. So there's a kind of tentative timeline we provided. If we, with approval this evening, we would move forward with the design with intent to go out for bids sometime in January, get that back in time for the council to approve, accept, and review those bids again, so we can begin our approval with MnDOT and then create those agreements between the city and MnDOT once we've received those bids. So again, trying to get this put in place so that way all those approvals and everything can be taken care of, so that construction can commence whenever the spring will allow us to.
This is Heineke. I got a question again. Can you remind us how the funding for the airport works again? Is it like 80-20 funding from the state?
The last time we met, and the last time we've approved all this, it's actually been a 95-5 split. So the local match from the city would be a 5% match of the total of all the project costs. And, based on our CIP estimate was around total project was around $683,500. So the local share was around the $34,000 to get this work completed. So a 5% match by the city.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Just so, I mean, that does a good job for keeping our facility up for a very small upkeep cost. I mean,
I noticed a lot of this is Councilman Silty. Looking at the map, a lot of this work doesn't really much involve the runway. It's actually the taxi port that's in front of the hangars that are on there. Is there be more than just taking off the layer? What do you guys actually plan to do?
Yeah, it'll be a full depth pavement remove. Just be the top inch or so. It'll be all of the existing bituminous, and the areas shaded in red will be removed, and then the placement of new pavement.
Okay. And then is Mr. Schwank aware that we're going to be doing this next summer?
yeah, he's the main driver behind it.
Okay, fair enough.
Do we have someone want to make a motion?
This is Schmidt. I'll motion to contract with Rodenberg and Berryman and allow for the city administrator to sign the agreement once the contract is reviewed by the office of the city administrator.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to contract with Rodenberg and Berryman for the engineering scope of the airport pavement project. Do I have a second?
This is Silty. I'll second that.
Councilor Silty will second the motion. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Silty?
Yay.
My vote as mayor is yea, motion carried.
Michael, we'll be in touch in the next couple of days. Give me a buzz so we can talk about the formal contract, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Purchase beyond city policy thresholds.
The city has a policy whereby no invoice above $5,000 to be paid unless it's an emergency procurement situation without the permission of the city council. These invoices came in. Some of them you have already voted on for approval, but this is voting on the actual dollar amount. And we're asking the city council to please pay these so that we can make good on our liabilities and continue offering the services that we offer.
This is Schmidt. I'll make a motion to approve paying invoices beyond the city's purchase policy in the amount of $279,627.13.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to approve paying the invoices above the city's purchasing policy in the amount of $279,627.13. Do I have a second?
This is Heineke, I second.
Councilor Heineke has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote again. Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Selby?
Yay.
Mayor is yea, motion carries. General election.
City clerk will speak with you guys a little bit about this.
What you have in front of you that I posted to the website is just a abstract of the votes that were cast for the general election. And as you can see, we had, of the 751 registered voters, we actually had 74 more people come in on election day and register to vote here in person. They accepted 195 absentee ballots, so we had 726 people from Appleton vote this year in the general election. And then the rest of the pages are just a summary for each office and the summary of who was running, how many votes they got, and then if there was any write-ins, it just says how many write-in votes there were. It does not list the actual write-ins, but that's just what this is. It's just a document that gets certified every year after the general election by the canvassing board, which in this case is the city council.
Emma, this is Councilor Schmidt. I'd just like to say thank you to all the staff there. You guys did a nice job keeping it organized, social distance, sanitized, everything else. That was a stressful election, and you guys did a nice job.
Thank you. We had some really good judges that helped us out that day. So thank you to all of our election judges because they did a wonderful job for us this year.
Mrs. Schmidt, again, I'll motion to certify the returns of the general election held on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, as submitted. Mayor Dan Tossel, 408. Kevin M. Clemens, 226. Write-ins, 8. Councilmember at Large, Matt Tollefson, 322. John Drugsman, 239. Gary Borstead, 269. Write-ins, 3. Filing vacancies for council members at large, Chadwick Silty, 539. Write-ins, 10. Elected Mayor Dan Tossel. Elected council members at large, 4-year terms, Gary L. Borstead and Matt Tollefson. Elected council member at large, 2-year term, Chadwick Silty.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt, certifying the general election of voters' votes cast. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
This is Heineke. I just noticed that Tim Rittenauer's votes were not listed.
Oh,
Is there some reason for that, you guys?
Oh,
You can read it for them because it's not in the motion.
Okay, so Tim Rittenauer had 247 votes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
So is that okay if Emma just adds that to the motion?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good.
Motion, do I just read that again? So, Councilor Heineke seconded, or was that Silty?
Silty.
Heineke.
I'll second.
Whoops.
Okay. Councilor Hickey has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion? So we straightened up that Tim Ricknower's numbers were not put into the original motion. We'll do roll call vote again. Councilor Schmidt,
Yay.
Councilor Haney,
Yay.
Councilor Silty,
Yay.
I vote yea, motion carries. Fairness plan.
This is Heineke. I motion to return to phase 1 of the city COVID-19 preparedness plan and to evaluate again in December 16th, 2020, regular meeting of the city council.
I'll second that motion. This is Silty.
Motion has been made by Councilor Heineke to have the city remain in phase 1 of the COVID-19 preparedness plan. We have a second. Councilor Silty has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion?
So we, as a city, we took the steps to roll back to phase 1, given the rise at our local level, our state, and our nation, unfortunately, of COVID-19 cases. While we did that, we also bring it back to the city council for your formal vote and authority to continue doing so. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage everybody to socially distance. Please wear your mask, take care of each other, and know that we're doing everything possible to deliver the services while also being safe. Phase 1, we're having appointments. There are no alternating days as there were during phase 2. You can call in and get all of your services. You can still do the Dropbox, and you can again make those appointments. And also with regard to our DVS, the whole state had to redo that system or relearn how to do it. Some municipalities, in terms of that functionality, they're still closed. They're still not offering that particular service. We only shut down for 1 day. Now we're back up and running. So even though it's only by appointment, you are encouraged to make the appointment. We will give you the service. It will just be by appointment. Do you want to speak a little bit more about that?
Okay, council, this is Clerk Treasurer Hogan again. Just on the motor vehicle side of it, like the city administrator alluded to, we did switch to the new mid-drive system that the state just launched on Monday. So we do ask when the public comes, please have all your information, your insurance information, your driver's license, cash or check. We don't take credit cards for motor vehicles, so we do need cash or check. And any information that you have for the vehicle, whether you're renewing it or if you have a new vehicle with titles, we just ask that you be prepared when you come in because it'll make it go easier. And then with appointments, we don't have time, if you have to run out and because they are scheduled appointments, we can't have a lot of information missing when you come in. And like Willie said, that we are taking appointments and when you call our office, the person that answers the phone will ask you more details on your transactions. They can give you a better estimate of the times and what you need to bring with you.
And I want to assure the public, we do return calls. We do check these messages.
Yep. And if you call and don't get us the first time, leave a message and we will call you back. Because we both, or all three of us might be on the phone. We will get the message and we will call you back.
And just from all of us, we want to express our thanks and gratitude to our community for the patience they have shown during this pandemic. It's not easy. We know it's not. We know we're asking so much of you, but we thank you for your patience.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call vote. Councilor Schmidt,
Yay.
Councilor Heineke,
Yay.
Councilor Silty.
Yay.
My vote is made as yea, motion carries. Resolution Johnson Properties.
Mr. Johnson has some delinquent assessments on his properties. Mr. Johnson has asked the city council consider moving or waiving some of these. And our policy as a city is that if a resident wants to communicate request the city council, we'll do everything possible for them to access the city council. That's what that is.
This is Heineke, a motion to adopt resolution 2020-31 forgiving delinquent mowing and utility charges made against Johnson Properties, provided the office of the city clerk has signed notice accepting responsibility for water services and charges at all properties.
Motion has been made by Councilor Heineke to adopt resolution 2020-31. Do I have a second?
Legally, if there is no second, it can't move forward.
It can die for lack of a second.
All right, we do not have a second, so that will be tabled.
Can I
Why should it
remove
be
my
tabled? It should be
motion,
just removed.
Mayor?
What did I say?
Could you repeat?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just a question. This is Council Silty. Why is it being tabled? Why can't it just be removed?
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's just removed, yep.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, could I remove my motion as well?
Motion
Or
to
doesn't that require removal?
Motion to be in table without a second, then we can just remove it.
Okay, thank you.
It dies. Literally, that's the term. The motion dies.
So we're on to page.
Economic hardship grant.
Okay, Appleton Economic Hardship Grant.
Yep.
This is Schmidt. All motion to allow for the city administration to use the remaining non-CRF funds available in the grant program for grant awards where loss or hardship is not only due to COVID-19 impacts.
Motion has been made by Councilor Schmidt to extend the grant criteria. Do I have a second?
Heineke, I'll
This is
second.
Councilman Silty. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Councilor Heineke has seconded the motion. Will there be any discussion?
Yep. So I'd like to report that report that my office submits to the Minnesota Department of Management and Budget. You'll see it says final on there. All of the $102,161 that was allocated to the city of Appleton for COVID relief funds have been used in their totality. We have been able to help various families and businesses. And now the only funds that remain are the funds that have been donated by financial institutions here. And so those funds do not carry the same restrictions as the CRF funds. And what the city's asking is that we be allowed to serve people who have been impacted, maybe indirectly, or maybe in a manner that cannot be proven or allocated specifically to COVID-19. We have, for example, some businesses that need support of a different nature that are not COVID-19 necessities. And we have applicants who are needing support for a different reason that's not COVID-19 related, and we'd like to be able to help them. And since the CRF funds are already all expended, we really feel good to be able to use these funds to help them.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Silty?
Yay.
My vote as mayor is yea. Motion carries.
Transaction summary.
Oh, no, we're
Already?
Yep, because that's not a voting thing, that's why.
This is Liz Bass, accounting officer. Just gonna review a little bit of the transaction summary for transactions from the month of October. Our fund balances, the unrestricted general fund balance was $1,702,855.36. The restricted fund balance was $988,498.27. and that total equaled $2,591,353.63. During the month of October, I processed 240 invoices that totaled almost $219,000. The checkbook disbursements dispersed almost $363,000. We paid the state for motor vehicle money we collected, just over $38,000. The DNR got almost $400. We had 3 payrolls this month. That's why payrolls were so much more. That was over $68,000. Payroll taxes for the federal withholding, Social Security, Medicare, that was about $12,500. The state withholding was just over $2,000. The PRA was just over $9,700. We approved invoice payments. We issued 97 checks that covered 154 invoices. That totaled $121,300. The automatic payments for items, we had 113 transactions that covered 105 invoices, and that was for $105,334. And then we did our monthly transfer to the wastewater money market for $5,000. Let's see, invoices over the $5,000 was the payroll and health insurance. One was about $24,000, another one was almost $23,000, and the other one was $21,500, and that was all payroll. And then the health insurance was $20,571. Electric bill for the wastewater treatment plant was $7,812. Approved payments, the Appleton EDA was $10,000. Croats Concrete was $6,681.23. The Appleton Area Health was $33,836. Contractual services that we paid that were over 5 were for Matthias Disposable, their monthly fee of $5,720. And then also a payment to Conway, Duth, and Schmeezing, which was our auditors, was $7,175. Deposits we collected during October totaled $424,775.63. It was broken down by deputy registers. We collected $40,560. For general deposits, general money, was $122,394. Water, sewer, garbage, the utility bills was $103,876. Liquor store receipts were $57,943. And we had one transfer from savings into the checking account of $100,000. And that should be it.
Thank you, Liz.
And when you see $33,000 being paid over to the hospital, that's transferring a grant that I got for the ambulance that now is to be administered by the hospital because they now operate the ambulance.
Good.
Next thing is the closed session.
Okay, do we have a motion for closed session, please?
I'll make that motion. This is Councilman Silty. To go into closed session.
Heineke, I'll second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Silty to enter into closed session and seconded by Councilor Heineke. Will there be any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Councilor Schmidt?
Yay.
Councilor Heineke?
Yay.
Councilor Silty?
Yay.
My vote as mayor is yea. Motion carries. We'll move into closed session.
Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're back on here. I'd like to make a statement here before we close this meeting off. The City of Appleton wishes to disavow any association with any existing social media, videos, or literature that is critical to the Minnesota Department of Health. The City of Appleton and all of its enterprises, which include water services, sewer services, and the city hospital, have all been benefited from our relationship with our strategic state partners such as the Minnesota Department of Health and the Public Facilities Authorities. The City of Appleton appreciates the continued guidance and support of our strategic state partners throughout these unprecedented times. So I just wanted to let that out there, so thank you. We have a motion to adjourn.
This is Heineke. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second.
This is Schmidt, I will
This is
second.
Councilman Silty.
Motion has been made and seconded by Andrew M. Silty to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none? We need to do a roll call on that too. No, we're adjourned. Thanks, guys.